Hi guys, welcome back to Worth the Spin. I'm your host, Jack. My co-host again, Kelly.
Hi.
I think she forgot her name. I'll get her name tag next time.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to practice our intro in the future. Okay.
Nothing's practice about my
All
channel.
right.
I got news for you. That's what people have come to expect. All right, so we're up to Magical Mystery Tour, and we're talking about the Beatles. Trying to convert Kelly into a big, huge Beatle fan like me. So
I think it's working.
Yeah, I think it's doing a good job.
It's working, yeah.
There's a lot of until I asked her, and there's a lot of stuff she didn't listen to, and now she's listening to it. She's like, that's pretty good.
That's right.
Never heard that before. And Amy says it all the time. I didn't know much about the Beatles until I met Jack, and it's like, there's all this music that I know now, and it's all really good music and stuff. So she's really gotten
It's
a
like
bigger,
the general public knows these certain songs. Like
Right.
Everybody knows Hey Jude. Everybody knows, the handful of these Beatles songs. But there's so many I'd never heard before.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we're up to Magical Mystery Tour. So Magical Mystery Tour, because I like to educate you. So originally in UK, the Beatles did EPs, which is kind of like a 45, but it has 3, 4, 5 songs on it.
Okay.
And that was a format that was dying out. So when it got time for the Beatles to do another album, they were like, we're doing EP, but EPs are dying. We don't want to do enough for a whole album. So they figured they'd do one more EP. So they did the Magical Mystery Tour EP. So when they did this, Paul came up with this idea for a TV special that would go along with it. So they filmed this hour-long TV special, and it had all these different imagery and all this color and all this stuff going on in it. And then when the BBC showed, the BBC is our main channel in Europe, when they showed it in black and white. Because not everybody was converted to color yet back then. So they showed it in black and white. So people watching it went, what the hell is that? It is horrible. Because they didn't see all this imagery that's all in color.
So were the Beatles upset that it wasn't?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
But, it wasn't, it's supposed to be shown in color, so there's all these things that you see. And it was re-shown again later on, and in color, the ratings were drastically different, and people were more favorable of it. So this is also the one where people started going, what are they doing? I don't understand what's going on. And Ringo always says, hey, they had an opportunity right there to go, that's enough from these guys. We're cutting them off. But nobody said nothing. They just let us keep going. So we kept making albums. So the EP this one is a double EP. And I love the packaging. So you got a little story here about that. And then you have the story that the Beatles wrote that would go along with all this stuff. So you got this little book in there, and this is basically the storyline for the TV show. And then in the middle, you got the lyrics of the songs that were on this EP. So it was a 2 EP because it was more than you could put on one. So in America, we didn't do EPs. There was no money in EPs, so Capitol wasn't interested in EPs. So, of course, Dave Dexter, the guy in charge of Capitol and the Beatles albums, he made up a Beatles album because that's what he does. He makes up Beatles albums by cutting songs off to make more money.
Yeah.
So he came up with the American Magical Mystery Tour, which in a way is a lot like, that cover. Same thing on the inside. And I got this down because these fall out. They're cheap in America. And they fall out easy, and I wanted to rip out. Same book here that's in there. It's just bigger. So it's all the same thing.
Okay.
So the only difference is they added songs to this to make a full album, whereas the TV special only had 5 songs on there, new songs. And so to make an album, they had to put some more stuff on here.
Yeah.
So they took some of their singles that came out. Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane was all by itself. What they call a double A side.
Okay.
So the Beatles couldn't decide which one they wanted to be the A side. They were leaning for Penny Lane, so it was released more with Penny Lane as the A side. Okay. And it's just one of the two only Beatles singles not to hit number 1. It was beat out by, can't say his name right, Herb Alperdink.
Oh, yeah.
He just came out. He had that song he did.
Yeah.
And all the moms love the song. So.
Do you remember the name of it?
I can't remember. No.
Okay.
It's a horrible song. I think it's a horrible song. So anyway, so that beat out Penny Lane, and it was always a thing. People would ask Paul, what did you think about that? It should have been a number 1 song, and it was. And whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. All You Need Is Love, and Baby You're a Rich Man. that was another 45. So All You Need Is Love. The thing about All You Need Is Love was it was the first worldwide satellite transmission ever. So there's a charity event. They asked the Beatles to do a song. They came up with All You Need Is Love. It's the 60s. It's the love movement. So they came up with All You Need Is Love. It's John's song. And the Beatles wrote it and put the music and all that together. And they went in there and it was set up. 100 million people was watching this thing. And they just went in there, no rehearsing. They just went in there and they, All You Need Is Love. And one take and did it perfectly on TV live, no mistakes at all. So that's the historical thing about All You Need Is Love. And then there's Hello Goodbye. That was just another single on its own, and then they added it in to fill this album out.
Okay.
So they worked out perfect, because if you listen to these songs go perfectly with Magical Mystery Tour, Fool on the Hill and all that. It's just, they're all done at the same time, so that's more probably why. Yeah. But it's like they should have been on an album together. So the Beatles loved that idea, so they just incorporated this into their catalog in the 70s and made it officially part of it, sort of. So yeah, so this is the only one that gets, So, what do you feel about Magical Mystery Tour?
I love the Magical Mystery Tour song. So the meter, it's in 4/4 time, but then it switches to half time, and so it's the same but different. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it will go twice as slow. Okay. But the meter's the same. It's not switching to 3 or 6. Sorry. It's just, that's what my brain is saying. So sometime you and I will have a listening party that's not on camera. Yeah. And we'll really dig deep into it. It'll be so fun. But I really like it. I like that it's like, come on and join this. I don't know. It has a great vibe to me. I really liked it.
Magical Mystery Tour in Europe is where you decide to just wake up one day and, hey, Kelly, let's just go adventuring and see what's going on. And you rent a bus or a car. And you
Is that what that means?
Yeah, pack a lunch and you just take off and whatever happens.
I love that.
And that's what they'd call a Magical Mystery Tour.
I love that. Okay. The Fool on the Hill, flute is very prominent, and it reminds me of a song that would be in a movie or a musical, and I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know what it is. It just, why do I feel that way? A little bit of it is the melody. Makes me think of a song that would be in a musical. But it's in a minor key, so it just sounds sad. And that's all I really have about it. I had not heard it before. And I don't know what it's about.
Paul said at one time it was kind of self-biological, or whatever that word is.
Biographical.
Yeah, and he kind of felt like a fool sometimes, and things that and their manager passed away, and Paul was kind of decided to make himself leader of the band. He was making some of these decisions, and he kind of felt like, I don't know, just So in a way, it was kind of he felt that way, but then in another way, it was just kind of yeah.
Well, and then it's also, maybe it's autobiographical, but it's something that people can relate to. Yeah. So the next one is very short. It's like a little interlude. Right? No lyrics. La la la.
It's just kind of filler for the show. There's a scene where they're on the bus. Everybody's on this bus. So the Magical Mystery Tour, they take this big long bus, and it's all painted up. It says Magical Mystery Tour and stuff. And they're going across the country, and you're seeing people interact with one another, and it's just kind of
Yeah. So it's there because of this.
This kind of interlude.
Okay.
It's kind of fun.
Okay. Blue Jay Way features cello, I believe, and it's very unsettling is the word to me. Well, yeah, because it's da 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 da. I'm not saying it exactly.
Creepy-ish.
Yeah, it's foreboding. It's just like something bad's gonna happen. Which is maybe not what they meant at all. I don't know what they were trying to...
That's a George Harrison song, and George was waiting on some friends. He was having a little dinner party. He was waiting on some friends. He was living in L.A. and he was waiting on some friends. And he just moved to this Blue Jay Way. And he was waiting on them, and they were late getting there. And the fog was really, really thick that night.
Fog.
It was really thick that night, and he figured the fog was keeping them from getting there. And he's like, it's just waiting. It's getting later and later. So he sat down at the piano, and he just started coming up with this song, which was describing what was happening that night.
And it makes sense.
Waiting on his friends. I hope they don't lose their way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I can hear all that.
That's
okay. Okay. It's not a song I would want to listen to a lot because, again, I don't want to feel unsettled.
Good.
Doesn't mean I only listen to happy music.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, not my top choice. Your Mother Should Know. I think you told me you like this song.
I do.
And I want to know why.
Because it's the imagery of this. I've always liked this song, and when I first heard this when I was a kid, I did see the TV special on like PBS, and they got these white coat, and I always liked. I don't dress that way, I know, but I like one of the things that appealed to me about James Bond is you got these snappy suits all the time. He's got the tie, he's got these real nice, well-fitted suits, and he's got this memorisms about him, and the Beatles did this. They had these coats on with the long tails. They used to be on coats,
Yeah.
And they're real snappy looking and very dressed and sharp looking, and they're like doing this da da da.
Okay.
And there's this long staircase that they go down, and they had to navigate this staircase doing this song, and everybody going in sequence as they're shuffling down these stairs, and it adds to the song. It's one of those you can see in your mind, and they talk about your mother should know. It's the things your mother should know that she should told you and never did. And
so do you think you like it so much because of the video or movie?
I think so. Because I think my earliest memories of that song was I seen that.
So you have a positive connection to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wondered why you like it so much, and so that definitely helps me understand why. I Am the Walrus, you guys. I mean, there's words in here I've never heard before because I don't think they're real. Right?
Yeah, there's interesting things in here. Yeah.
It just seems, I don't know. I mean, tell me about this song.
So John was doing a movie in kind of Beatles downtime. He was doing this movie called How I Won the War with the guy who directed Hard Day's Night. So during a break, during filming, he was just sitting there and he's just doodling and, and the song comes to mind and he just starts writing it out. And it formulated into I Am the Walrus, and he just took it back to the studio and played it for the guys, and they're like, it's good, it's got potential. And George Martin got involved, and they started looking. It's one of those where they look for the different odd instruments they never used before.
So are you saying they weren't high when they wrote this?
I don't ever remember. No, John was not high. He was dressed up as a World War I soldier and on set taking a break against a tree. That's what he described.
Because that song is weird, and I do not care for it.
Oh, wow, I love that. It has a lot of different, a lot of imagery in it. I know it has a lot of weird, dead dogs, Dead Dog's Eye, and all these weird.
I feel like let me tell you a quick little story. Yeah. When Abby, my daughter, was little, so at my parents' house on the hearth, right in front of the fireplace, we used to call that the stage, and Quinn and Abby would perform over at my parents' house. And Abby was really young, 3, probably only 3, and she stood up there and she sang in kind of a monotone fashion, so no real melody line going, and she literally would sing about whatever she saw. And that kind of reminds, like, what even is this? Like, she'd be like, and the lamp, and then there was the sky and the window. I mean, it's crazy. We have it on video. I'll show it to you sometime. It's like, what's happening? But this song, I'm like, what is this? I feel like it's just, is it random? Is it, tell me if it's not random.
It's just a random things came to his mind, and as he's writing it, there was just more imagery that he came up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed just a string technique if you just felt like learning something new. I hear glissando on that, where you're just on a string instrument and you're using, one finger and going up the string.
Okay.
And it's just a technique used in classical music. And so I heard that in there and just jotted it down as a note, glissando. It's just a string technique. Nothing very exciting, but wanted to mention it. But that's all I have for that one. Boy, that was a trip. I mean,
yeah, I love that song. And there's another part in there that involves Eric Burton of the Animals. So John and Eric were talking one time, and Eric was talking to him about his new girlfriend, and it gave a secret to John and John put it into a song, but he thought he kind of masked it where you or I, nobody would really know what he's talking about. But Eric Burton heard that and went, "You bastard." And it's something that, so. Really? Yeah,
so there's a secret
it's something
message in that song?
Well, yeah, it's something that I wouldn't feel comfortable telling you about, but it does have this. There's a meaning to the one part in the song, and yeah. But you could Google it, you'll probably find out.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just thought it was interesting that was included in part of the song. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So on the flip side, I love the next song. Hello, Goodbye. And maybe I just love the songs that are more traditional. I don't know. But so it's in 4/4 time, but it has 2/4 in the chorus. So you and I can listen to that later. The melody's catchy. It's just a fun, nice melody. I thought the end was fun because it kind of has. I was surprised by the forward motion feeling it has at the end, almost like a train, almost a little bit. It made me think of. So I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was fun. I like the 8th note bass line and the string parts. I like everything, all of the instrumentation in this song, and I put that this song puts me in a good mood.
Okay. It's kind of a snazzy song. For a while, Target was using it. And the Beatles are not big on
their songs being used for
advertising things, but at one point Michael Jackson owned the Beatles catalog, and
oh really?
It was a deal between him and Paul. It's kind of a story, but
okay.
Yeah, he thought they were buddies, and Paul made the decision, and he realized, man, that was stupid. So yeah, they were using it for Target. So every time you see a Target ad, they were doing "Hello, Goodbye." Cause run in and run out of Target. Supposedly, they had that slogan. Target, it's time for a Target run or something like that. Yeah. And they were kind of using that for a while. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's a great song.
But it's a good song overall. Yeah.
It's good. So the next song is So Famous. And what's interesting is, as I was listening to it, I'm like, I don't know if I've really heard it. I've always known of it, I guess. But when I listened to it for the first time, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I totally know this song, like some of the other famous Beatles songs. So it's very dreamy, but is it a happy or sad dream? Not to say it's a dream, but dreamy sounding. What's your take on it?
It's John's reminiscing days. Strawberry Fields is Strawberry Field. There's only one field, but they put an S on the song. So John's house is. So when you go to Strawberry Field, it's like a little pathway, basically. It's a pathway you can walk. Okay, in a circle. And off to the side, there's one little patch of strawberries, where strawberries grow. And back then in the early 60s, 50s, early 50s, late 50s, early 60s. It was just like a lot of trees, and then just a field didn't have, any real significance to it at the time. John's house was on the other side, and he would climb the fence and get into there, and he would go daydream in Strawberry Field.
Okay.
So it was his place to hide out from all the madness that his father didn't want him. His father left him. His mom was killed by an off-duty police officer who was drunk, and his aunt was taking care of him. And John had a lot of sadness in his life when he was young and stuff. And this was a place for him to go and daydream and forget about life, with Strawberry Field.
Well, so maybe that's why I'm asking, is it happy or sad? Because, he's trying to escape sadness, and he's in a place that's happy to him, but so maybe a mixture.
Mixture, yeah.
So Penny Lane is another great song, another one that puts me in a good mood. So during the verses, I love the descending bass line. So the notes are, starting here and they're going down. So da 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 is the melody. And so while that's happening, go bum 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 with the bass going down. So I like that a lot. And I love the trumpet solo.
I think Paul's bass playing it got different after Sgt. Pepper.
And that's not, a descending bass line, that's easy. That's not hard. I'm not saying like, wow.
Right.
I just like it. I just like that you have this melody, where the notes are da 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 da. So I'm just showing the melodic line with my hand, but then you've got this bass line that's just walking down, underneath the melodic notes. Yeah. It's great. It's a great combo.
They did a lot of little stuff like that. Overall, when you hear when you look into how their music was put together, it's like, man, it's just, and it makes it, and you don't realize it as you're listening to it overall. But then it's like kind of isolated. Like, man, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So it's just another one of their sweet songs, and I know it's not about love at all, and it doesn't have to be a sweet song. It's just a sweet sounding song. I love the melody of the verses and the chorus. It's just great. And I've always known it. So in my dance classes growing up, we would use this song during our ballet bar work when we were doing something called tendus, where you're pointing and coming. I show it on the, you're pointing your foot and bringing it back in. Da 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 da.
Oh, I've seen them do that.
Right? And so the dance teachers find songs where the tempo works for the ballet exercise that you want your students to do, and so we always dance to that one. Okay. Baby, You're a Rich Man.
Oh, no, Penny Lane, I want to say real quick.
Oh yeah.
So Penny Lane was another John. It's another reminiscent thing.
Okay.
So Penny Lane's where him and Paul would hang out,
Okay.
And so you had all the stuff that's in the song was real stuff in Penny Lane. You had the barber that was there, which is, and we wanted to walk it, and we didn't get to walk it, and we so want to go back and walk it.
Yeah.
But, the barber, which is now a women's boutique hair thing, but they had the barber who had all the pictures on the wall. And there was the fireman, and so it wasn't any in particular fireman. It was just one fireman that came out all the time and check his watch and watch for rain. And so all those things, the girls with the poppies, they were behind the bus station. The bus station was like this round thing, and all that stuff was in it. And he's just kind of reminiscing about, this is my day-to-day life here. And
I love that it creates such a visual.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really neat part of the song. That listeners can connect to. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're listening to this and you're just, you're picturing everything as you go through, as you listen to the song.
And it's like Amy says, now that when we listen, it's different listening to beat music now after being there. Before you listen to it and you hear about these places. Yeah. But now it's like when we hear Penny Lane, we're on that tour bus driving through Penny Lane.
Yeah.
And they're showing all these things that's in the song. You see it. And now you can't listen to it. It's just a song no more.
Right.
It's that bus tour through.
It's so much more.
Penny Lane.
That's right.
It's just like Strawberry Fields. It's back then. It's different than it is now. It was more wooded and stuff, and there weren't But now it's a big thing, obviously, of course, and it's gated off, and But it's weird because when you go in the Strawberry Fields, like we went and we waited for them to open. We took an Uber, got there early. Because when tour bus went right by, it's Strawberry Fields. The song. And
okay, just
they don't stop. You can't look. So You take the tour
Yeah.
and you go buy all the stuff. So we went and took an Uber and went there the next morning, and we waited for them to open. You can't really see much. You can't get over the fences and stuff, and you get in there and it's one of those places that is, you walk. It's so quiet. You don't hear birds. It's very quiet. There's no wind. There's this pathway that goes all the way around and reconnects. And there's a small little strawberry patch over to the side. And then this little amphitheater thing where they have little mini concerts like every now and then. But you go in there, even when people showed up, they were quiet. It wasn't like anybody's like yelling or look at this. It's
just more
quiet.
contemplative place.
You could sit there and it's just calm and it's so relaxing. It's like you go and sit there forever and just feel so relaxed and at ease. It was just weird how it was in that place. Yeah. And even when other people showed up and with kids, you didn't hear any yelling, and it was so it was like it was cut off from the rest of the world.
Just serene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peaceful. It's just amazing.
That's neat.
Yeah. All right, baby, you're a rich man.
All I said about this was what instrument is in the beginning and why do we need it?
I'm not sure which instrument that is on the beginning of that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to it later and discuss more. I guess so. It looks like I thought it was unnecessary.
Yeah, they found different, Strawberry Fields. They use this thing called a mellotron.
Okay.
It's a big. We seen it there. It's a great big device. And it has all these keys, just an incredible amount of keys and all this weird stuff going on. And it's one of those, they say you have to play it exactly to get it to sound like it's making music. It's a very intricate thing. People don't like it because it takes a lot of concentration. And there's a lot going on in order to play this thing and make music come out of it.
Okay. And
John heard it and he was like, "Ooh, I love it," and he incorporated it into the song. So they were always doing it. They were looking for different instruments, and it's like I said, they went through the studio and somebody was in another booth and they were playing something and he'd never heard that instrument before. Like,
what's that?
Yeah. Maybe we can put this in a song. And they drag it down to the studio and put it in a song. Yeah. Because they like different sounds. They like sounds that weren't well known, that you've not heard before. Yeah. And it's anything that sounded musical and for them they were.
Well, I love that they were curious. They weren't just trying to just put out another album, curious about all the different instruments out there. And just even writing arrangements for all these horns and strings and all that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. All You Need Is Love. I know I had known that song. It's mostly 4/4 with some 3/4 meter in there. So full orchestra on this. Horns and strings, and so just a very full song with all that. Just a full orchestrated piece of music. And the intro's the French national anthem. So they just felt
John was doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he liked the sound of it. He just incorporated it in there. And when they did it live, it's just the four of them sitting in chairs, and there's orchestras over there playing away. And,
okay.
It's just the Beatles were more, and they did a lot of that stuff. It's more, orchestra type stuff.
Yeah.
Because they liked it.
And that's just a great message, right? It's a great song, good positive message. So I know Hey Jude was a single.
Yeah, so Hey Jude is I didn't want to leave that out.
I threw it on this spreadsheet, though.
Hey Jude was a single by itself. Hey Jude's the very first Beatle, I don't think I have it in my stack of shelf things, but it's the very first Beatles album or single to be on the Apple label.
Okay.
And the Beatles started their own company. It was Apple Records. It was before Apple. He stole the Apple thing and got sued for it too. But the Beatles are the ones that came up with it.
Steve Jobs did?
Yeah. Oh. So they made an arrangement down. Okay. So that's why his label's changed. But the Beatles came up with Apple. Okay. It's Apple Corps. And it's just they like the look of the Apple as far as what it would look like on a label and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you had a full Apple on one side, turn the record over, it's cut in half. and that was their label. So the first thing to come out with that was Hey Jude. Hey Jude was a song Paul wrote for John's son Julian. John and Cynthia, his wife, just got divorced. John had met Yoko Ono and fell in love with her, and they divorced, and Julian was having a really rough time. Paul was trying to help and make him feel better, and he wrote this song. It was supposed to be Hey Jules, because his name was Julian, and it didn't flow right, so he changed it to Jude. But the things in the song are supposed to relate to, hey, Julian.
Oh, I didn't
Sorry,
know that.
feel better. And Julian says that he never cared for it because it's always being reminded of something miserable in your life. Paul was doing a good thing, and he didn't think about that. He didn't think about that kind of thing. But Julian's like, every time I hear that song, I think about my mom and dad breaking up and all the chaos that went on at that time with it. So, and that was the first song ever to be more than 3.5 minutes long, under 4 minutes long.
For them?
Yeah, it's 7 minutes long. It's a little over 7 minutes long.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's a long song. A little more than half of it is na.
True, yeah.
Which is a big thing to have a single, where over half of it's just na.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not like, real words. The engineers, the people that make the records tell the Beatles, the song's got to be put on two sides. We can't do it on 145 because it's too long. Vinyl was not made at the time where you could put a song that long on one side. So you're going to have to put the other one in. Paul's like, no, we're not doing it. It's the whole. It's a song.
Right.
It goes together.
Yeah.
We're going to put the whole song on there. Figure it out.
Yeah.
So the engineers figured out that the grooves in the record, you could take them. Somehow they figured out that you can make these grooves, which you really can't see very well, some small, some bigger. So they took the bass parts, which were heavier and required a little bit more room, and were able to make those a little smaller. So the way the 45, the vinyl itself was designed, they kind of cheated and was able to stretch the vinyl out so that you could actually fit a song that was a little over 7 minutes long on the one side.
Okay.
And that was a big thing in radio, and people were like, you're not going to play that on the radio. You don't play songs that are that long.
Yeah.
It's a rule. You don't do it. It's too long. And then don't play it. Or don't play it. We're releasing it. Don't play it. So the flip side was Revolution, which got quite a bit of airplay. It's another one of their double A's. And DJs played it, and it was a big hit. Everybody, hey Jude, and then just.
So then they would play it.
Yeah, but it was a very historic for a lot of reasons. One, they started out, Apple was their first Apple thing, and the fact that they went over a mark, 4.5 mark, which you were not supposed to do, and then they were able to manufacture a record to hold that much song on one side, which everyone said you can't get that on there. It's not going to fit.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. And engineers figured out how to make the vinyl by making the grooves some a little smaller and on the lighter bits a little long, wider, and fit the whole song.
That's really neat. And neat to just push the boundaries, to have the people who make the records say that's not possible, but found out a way to make it possible. And
I added Hey Jude to the list because it's not on an album, but it's a very important part. The Beatles did a lot of singles that, originally weren't on albums but later popped up,
Yeah.
But this is one that, and they're like a greatest hits that we put out in America, Hey Jude. It was originally called The Beatles Again. It was a greatest hits it did after the Beatles broke up. So that's on that album. But yeah, this was a single to itself. So it's not on an album for us to say. And I didn't want to leave it out because it's my favorite Beatles song.
Why?
I don't know. It's always been from childhood. That was always my favorite Beatles song. And I don't know why, but from childhood on, that's always been the one that was my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's such an important song that I don't want to leave it off of the list. So that's why it was included the way it was.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and for this album, in its entirety, 2 notes that I made at the bottom were, there's less, I said maybe, if any, like rock and guitar solos on this album. Like, that's just not what they were about.
Yeah.
There's so many other things going on here, so many experimental things with instruments, and the horns and the strings and all that. They really, I don't know if there's any guitar solos. And then I just put it used to be pretty easy to know what their songs were about, but it's getting much harder as we go on. So,
and Strawberry Fields, I forgot to mention, is the one too that we talked about where it's 2 versions in the one. So John did 2 versions, and we got down to it of all it takes. He really loved 2 different versions. One was kind of fast and one was kind of slow.
Okay.
And he couldn't figure it out, and they're running out of time. And George is like, you got to make a decision, their producer. You got to make a decision on this. And he's like, I like them both. Make it work. And he's like, how am I going to make it work? One's it's a faster tempo, it's a higher. The other's a slower tempo, it's slower.
Yeah.
And John said, figure it out. That's what you're good at. And he stayed in the studio all night and figured out how to get one play slower and one to play higher.
Faster.
And then faster. And eventually got them to where they would merge.
Interesting.
That you can't tell that it's 2 different songs put together.
Oh, I'm going to go back and listen. Plus, I can't figure out the meter on that one. If anybody knows, wants to comment. I know I can look it up.
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
I don't know how many people that watch this know about meters and all that kind of stuff, but somebody might know about it. Somebody might know. All right, so there you go. So next we're up to the White Album. Can't wait to do that because it's a bit of a controversial one. Always has been. Fun. But I love it. It's my favorite Beatles album for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
I love that album, man. And yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about that.
Next week.
So thanks again for joining. I love doing this. This is awesome. So thanks for tuning in and watching my channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to know when I get new videos. Subscribe to my own channel because I never know when I'm doing these videos. Sometimes I always joke about that because I never know when I'm going to do them. Usually on Wednesdays because I have the time. But anyway, so yeah, subscribe and leave a comment. Love to answering comments, especially my friend Ron. I got one guy who's like super fan. He loves me to death for some reason. He calls, we talk all the time.
That's awesome.
He's great. He knows. He's like I could show any album cover and he could tell you every tiny single thing about it. It's just amazing that just looking at it on the screen, he's like, all it's like incredible. But anyway,
cool.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hopefully you tune in to my next video, which will be featuring Kelly again. So
I'll be back.
Loving this. This is great. So anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll sprinkle a little love out there on everybody and everything today because the world needs more love. All you need is love.
That's right.
And do one good act for somebody today if you don't mind. If you have time, give them a couple of dollars, buy them a cup of coffee. You'll be surprised sometimes you give a guy a cup of coffee on the side of the street, how happy that makes them. So it's a little tiny thing. Sometimes it's a world to somebody who can't afford it, can't do it for themselves. You never know what somebody's going through, so let's try to make their day better. And that's all I got for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.